Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Seth Andreson, and I am the spiritual director at the Village at Duxbury. So wonderful to have you here for our Celebration of Life service. In the next few moments, we'll be singing some songs together and also honoring a number of very special people, your loved ones, your friends, your family members who have passed on this last year. With that, we're going to go ahead and sing our first selection this morning, Great is Thy Faithfulness.
Thy faithfulness, O God, my Father, there is no shadow of turning with Thee. Thou changest not, Thy compassions, they fail not. As Thou hast been, Thou forever will be. Great is Thy faithfulness, great is Thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, Thy hand hath provided. Great is Thy faithfulness, Lord, unto Thee. Summer and winter and springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to Thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is Thy faithfulness, great is Thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, Thy hand hath provided. Great is Thy faithfulness, Lord, unto Thee.
Now we'll have a reading of Sea Fever by John Masefield, recited by Luke Kramer.
I must go down to the sea again, to the lonely sea in the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And the wheels kick, and the wind's song, and the white sails shaking, and a gray mist on the sea's face, and a gray dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying, and the flung spray, and the blown spume, and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and quiet sleep, and a sweet dream when the long trick's over.
Thank you, Luke. And now, to remember our dearly departed, we will be reading each name, and as we do that, you will have their picture name come up on your screen as we read. Barbara Chase.
Bob Lavin.
Marge Bishop.
Alice Laughlin.
Maura Hurley.
Priscilla McCallum.
Marilyn Stewart.
Paula Bothfeld.
Mason Cook.
Tom Chapman.
Evelyn Trossett.
Audrey McDonald.
George Keeler.
Sandy Emler.
Bing Bingham.
Nettie Namius.
Phyllis Guptill.
Lorraine Ruderman.
Doris Hiscock.
Stephanie Slappick.
And Nancy Hilton. And now we're going to sing our next selection together, On Eagle's Wings.
You who dwell in the shelter of the Lord, who abide in his shadow for life, say to the Lord, my refuge, my rock in whom I trust, and he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. The snare of the fowler will never capture you, and famine will bring you no fear. Under his wings your refuge, his faithfulness your shield, and he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. You need not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by the day. Though thousands fall about you, near you it shall not come, and he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand.
And now we'll have Reverend Betsy Stevens do our responsive reading.
I invite you all to join me. The words to the responsive reading will be at the bottom of your screen. In the rising of the sun and in its going down,
we remember them.
in the blowing of the wind and the chill of the winter,
We remember them.
in the opening of buds and the rebirth of spring,
We remember them.
in the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer,
We remember them.
in the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn,
We remember them.
in the beginning of the year and when it ends,
We remember them.
when we are weary and in need of strength,
We remember them.
when we are lost and sick at heart,
We remember them.
when we have joys we yearn to share.
We remember them.
So long as we live, they too shall live, for they now are part of us.
As we remember them. Thank you. And now we'll have some closing remarks. Before I share my closing remarks with you this morning, I just wanted to start with a little story of something good that happened to me recently. I went into Dunkin' Donuts, and before I got to the door, I noticed there was an African-American man getting out of a car, and I just decided, I'm going to hold the door for him, so I held the door open for him, and I could tell that under my mask and under his mask, I could see him smiling, and when I got up to the front behind him to get my coffee, he got his coffee, and then he said, whatever he wants, I'm going to get that for him. And I was just like, you don't have to get my coffee. And he said, I want to get your coffee because it really blessed me that you held the door for me. Teamwork makes the dream work. And before I go on and finish this morning, I just wanted to say thank you so much to Janet Palmer over at the Village Duxbury, who got the pictures for us and communicated with us to get that solved. I also want to thank Maureen and Luke over at the Village for their leadership in this. And then here at the Vineyard Church, Chris Conti, who is part of Clearline Technologies, our tech staff here. Just thank you so much for making this possible. Teamwork truly does make the dream work. When I think of all these wonderful, special people this morning, I just think of like different stories and different experiences. And I think of Sandy Emler, who is a part of our spiritual life committee and also who became a friend at the ecumenical service that we do. And she would come in, and many times she would get there before I would get there. And she would always ask me two questions. Seth, how are you doing today? With these big, bright blue eyes. And then she would follow that up by saying, is there anything that I can do for you? I think that we live in a time of crisis, obviously. There has been so much negative things happening. And in the midst of that, what we see globally, there's so many good things that are happening locally. And when I think of good things, I think of all these people, and I think of how many times people asked, as I was new at the Village and now been there for the last 3 years doing this, I had to learn along the way. And, each one would always ask me, is there anything I can do to help you? I think that they lived through the crisis of World War II. And there was a blatant, obvious evil at that point in time. And I'm sure each one of them was asking, what's my responsibility in this? Where do I fit in? I've certainly asked that of myself during this crisis. God, how do I make a difference for you here? And at the same time, I also think of Jesus' words in Matthew 7:7 to those that were gathered there during a message that he shared. And he said, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. I'm looking for ways to reach people with the good things of God. I hope that you are too, because I think he's like Sandy. He's just waiting for us to ask him, what can I do to make a difference? I know all of these people that we've celebrated today have made a difference. And I think that God just wants us to ask him, Lord, how can I make a difference in the areas that I am in where you have me to serve? So with that, we're going to go ahead and now sing our last selection, Amazing Grace, hopefully a hymn that you know. Let's do that now.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, storms, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.
Amen. Thank you for being here with us today to celebrate the lives of these incredible people. And before I leave you this morning, I'd like to pray a prayer of blessing over you. So as you're there, you can close your eyes or you can extend your hands, and let me pray this prayer of blessing over you now. Life is short, and we do not have much time to gladden the hearts of those who make the journey with us. So be swift to love and make haste to be kind. And the blessing of God, who made us, who loves us, and who travels with us, be with you now and forever. Amen.